Well, welcome to the Clacton and Kirby Church of Nativity. It's great to be with you today. My name is David and I'm part of St Paul's Church in Clacton. Shall we find out which part of the nativity scene we're adding today?
So today we're going to add in to our nativity scene, to our stable scene, the first of our wise men. Let's pop him here. Now, some people think the wise men were kings, and they call them the kings. But they weren't really kings. They were important people, but they served some ancient kings. They were their wise men, some of their advisors. And if we put the crown there to remind us that they served their king. And a king in those days, a king of those foreign countries, was a really important person. They were in charge, they were the ruler for as long as they lived. And even God's people in Old Testament times had a king. They were meant to help the people to follow God. The trouble was that most of them weren't very good kings at all, and they led the people astray. But God promised that one day he would send a really good king, a perfect king who would lead his people the right way. And not just that, this king would live forever and rule forever. And God's people looked forward to that king coming a lot. Let me read one of the prophecies, what one of the prophets said about this king. This is from Isaiah chapter 9. A child will be born to us. God will give a son to us. He will be responsible for leading the people. His name will be Wonderful Counselor, Powerful God, Father who lives forever, Prince of Peace. Power and peace will be in his kingdom. It will continue to grow. He will rule as king on David's throne and over David's kingdom. He will make it strong by ruling with goodness and fair judgment. He will rule it forever and ever. The Lord of heaven's armies will do this because of his strong love for his people. And the Bible tells us that Jesus was that king that God promised to send. Jesus was the king who would bring peace and righteousness and justice. And he was the king, he is the king who will reign and rule forever. And he's the one who really should have the crown.
So let's say a prayer. Dear Jesus, you are the greatest King, you are the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. We praise you. Amen.